Animal Crossing New Horizons is looking pretty darn hot, but that is one game in March. So what else do we have to look forward to before March 20th and after March 20th? Well, that's where this series comes in, where we focus on the new Switch games announced this week that look awesome. Because, quick note, I don't talk about every game announced this week. I do omit certain titles that look pretty stinky, or that look low quality, or that I don't think you would be interested in. Because let's face it, there are so many games uploaded each week to the eShop, there's no way you could possibly buy or play them all. So let's focus on the quality stuff, and I'm doing some filtration for you so you don't have to have your head and mind cluttered with a bunch of stuff that you'll probably pass over. Anyhow, let me know in the comments down below which of these games looks most exciting to you. Hit that like button if you enjoy knowing about the new Switch stuff. It also supports the channel a lot, and I would really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe and turn your notification bell on if you want to know what's coming and going as soon as it happens. So when that General Direct is finally announced, whenever it may be, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December, you'll be first to know. Let's start off with They Bleed Pixels, which was recently announced for Switch. It's going to be playable at PAX East. Sony won't be there, but Spooky Squid Games is bringing their, as it's now called, classic indie platformer slash 'em up to Nintendo Switcheroo. Now, I was wondering why they called this a classic, and then I realized it was released in 2012, 8 years ago. I remember when this game first came out. I remember seeing it and playing it. I did not know it was 8 years ago. So it's coming this year to Switch. It hasn't ever been on another console, so that's kind of neat. And it is a very awesome side-scrolling platformer where you are bleeding pixels a lot. It's kind of got a little bit of like there's a little bit of Meat Boy aesthetic to it, but it's much more about combat and causing a lot of blood. But there's definitely also things that can make you bleed. It's got really intense platforming. Platforming slash 'em up is a cool genre, I think, indeed. And I'm looking forward to playing this one again on Switch. It's a quality game, and I haven't played it in 8 years, so please come out soon. Dangerous Driving 2 is announced for Switch, and this is an odd one to me, not because the game is odd. The game could be really good. It is from Three Fields Entertainment. They are former Burnout devs, and they have been working to develop games that bring back that Crash 'em action since. But what's odd about this is that Dangerous Driving 1 came out last April, and Dangerous Driving 2 is going to be playable on Switch at PAX East, and the game is coming out this holiday. So it'll be a year and a half between releases, but in terms of sequels, that's a little odd, right? Normally, you get a little more time than a year and a half. They say it's going to deliver new features that fans have been clamoring for. Split screen, coming to Switch, obviously. It does have sort of that Crash vibe and different modes, survival mode, multi-vehicle pileups. You can play solo, you can play split screen, you can play online. I hope this one's a little better than Dangerous Driving 1, because although I do love Burnout, and I remember playing Takedown time and time again back when I was young, Dangerous Driving and what Three Fields has done has been cool, but nowhere near up to the standards or the quality level of those original titles. So maybe they can get closer with Dangerous Driving 2. We'll have to wait and see later this year. This is probably my favorite game of the week that was announced, One Step from Eden. It's more of a release date update, but this game looks incredible. It was supposed to drop in January. Now it's moved to March 26th for Switch and Steam. It is awesome. It's made by one dude, Thomas Moonkang. It won awards at Tokyo Game Show, and it is riffing on Mega Man Battle Network to bring a card battler grid action game to the Switch. It looks fantastic. There are multiple playable characters. It's got roguelike mechanics. There's upgrades. It looks freaking fantastic. It's a bigger grid than Mega Man Battle Network, so you're moving around a much bigger grid and using your abilities in real time. If you guys never played MMBN, I really liked those games back in the day. There was like, I remember, I think it was 3 was my favorite on Game Boy Advance. It had like a blue and a white edition, and I remember painstakingly sitting there looking at Nintendo Power and trying to find information about which version I wanted and why. I spent so much time back in the day like obsessing over what game to buy. I was just, goodness gracious, if you remember those days when you're a kid and you have very little funds, or you can get like one game for your birthday, it's a really tough choice. I mean, even today sometimes it's a tough choice when you got days where multiple titles come out, and on Switch that happens frequently. But I think this one is one to prioritize. It looks so good. It looks like it's right up my alley. I always have a soft spot for single dev development, You know, we saw that with Katana Zero, and look how that game turned out. They say there are 250 spells, 150 plus artifacts. There's some sort of random generation as well in the different effects and whatnot, which sounds cool. It's got a nifty art style, maybe a bit common of an art style, but I think, I don't know, as long as it controls well and plays fluidly, I think this is going to be one to really watch out for after Animal Crossing. And if Animal Crossing is too slow for you, then this looks to really bring the speed and the action and up the ante with 9 playable characters and sort of those roguelike elements to keep you coming back for more and more. I don't know. I'm so stoked for this one. Cooking Mama is also making her way back to Switch. Cooking Mama Cookstar coming out in March. No date, but in March for $39.99. Cooking Mama was last spotted, I believe, on 3DS. And now you can cook with her again on Switch. Apparently, it's coming out in a couple of weeks, which is very interesting. They have not announced a date, so that's got to be coming soon. I'm not the biggest fan of Cooking Mama, but I do love Overcooked. And this one has pretty cool graphics. Looks pretty nice. Cooking a lot of good stuff. My girlfriend may be really into this one, especially since she's getting more and more into cooking. You can make what looks like rainbow toast, rainbow grilled cheese. Not sure I want to eat that in real life, but there's also like slicing of salmon, cutting up of sweet potatoes, and maybe you can make a Cookstar out of yourself. Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should do this so I can cook for her. That might be a better idea. So I can give Cooking Mama a try in the near future. Drillman Rumble is coming to Switch in 2020. This is a new melee action title. It reminds me a lot of Drill Dozer, if you remember that game by one wondrous Game Freak company. Drill Dozer was actually really fun, and this looks to borrow from Drill Dozer but make it multiplayer. I'm always down for a really good arena, quick arcadey multiplayer game. There apparently is a co-op campaign as well. There's an endless mode, which is interesting, and there's a map editor, so it's packing in a lot, and sometimes when you pack in a lot, it becomes dangerous. We've talked about this before, where like you try to do too much, and sometimes it's tough to get all the way there. But if it can borrow from what made Drill Dozer really fun, I'm excited. Got cool character design, and it's supposed to come out sometime later this year. Playable at PAX East, so hopefully we'll get a report from that convention. All right, let's go to Pumpkin Jack. Pumpkin Jack sort of seems like it's Nightmare Before Christmas fused with medieval. It's coming to Switch Q4 2020. There's a demo on PC right now if you want to go give it a look. They are combining medieval and Jack and Daxter, is what they say, in a colorful cartoon setting. Spooky beast, different physics, gravity, and reflection-based puzzles, so a little like almost like Zelda action there. You can grab companions. This is a 3D action title. It actually looks really neat. Normally I'd say, these are kind of a dime a dozen, but they were a dime a dozen years ago. Seeing them in today's graphics and with today's design ideas is pretty neat. And this one looks to have a lot going on. There's like chase sequences, seems to be, like I said, the companions, which should be cool, boss battles, a lot of nifty exploration. There's like a minecart roller coaster. I'm always a sucker for throwing freaking theme parks into your games. I don't know why more games don't involve theme parks. Mark my words, if I ever make it to game design, I probably won't, but if I ever do, you'll be getting a spooky third-person action-adventure theme park game out of me. Anyhow, I think this one looks really neat. I don't know if I want to try the demo or just wait for it to release, but it's using Unreal Engine. Hopefully it looks pretty on Switch, giving you those Nightmare Before Christmas vibes, and will probably honestly release around Halloween, given that it's Pumpkin Jack. From there, we go to Ib and Ob. Do you remember Ib and Ob? Ib and Ob is a cooperative puzzle game, which is pretty neat. It released years back on other platforms. It is coming March 5th for Switch. I love these games that are just announced and then out in 2 weeks. It's going to be $14.99. You can pre-order now if you'd like to do that, preload, whatever you call it. But it's a game where you're like both relying on each other, and sometimes like upside down, right side up. It's got local and online multiplayer, and you can kind of like, sometimes one person has to be above ground and the other person has to be below ground. It says it's only 15 levels, which sounds really not like a lot, so they must be longer levels. I didn't really ever play this one when it first launched. I know it got decent reviews and looked cool, so it might be something to look into if you're jonesing for some co-op in early March. I don't know. I might skip over on this one just because I've played a lot of games in this vein, but if you are a former Ibanob fan, or if you are, like I said, just looking for co-op, it could be for you. And that is going to do it for this week's picks. Now, obviously, there are more games announced, like I said at the top, but these are the ones that I think look super cool. You know my pick. I said it straight up. One Step from Eden looks incredibly hot. I am ready for that game. I feel like nothing is really, I'm sure there's some, but nothing's really effectively or outstandingly riffed on Mega Man Battle Network for a while. So I'm excited to see if they're able to bring that in the modern era and remember if that gameplay was actually cool or just a product of the time. You know, there's some quality older titles that are being ported, and they bleed pixels. And Ibanob, Cooking Mama getting a new entry is neat. Pumpkin Jack actually looks cool. That'd be my second pick after One Step from Eden. I'm skeptical at Dangerous Drive-In 2. If it delivers, it would be one that I'd really want to check out, but I am skeptical as all heck right now, for better or worse. Give me your pick in the comments down below. What are you looking forward to from this week's list? Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and like to know what's coming to Switch. Make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to know first. And until next time, everybody, have a fantastic weekend. Thanks so much for watching. Be good to yourself and others out there. SwitchForce out.